centered more that way, I guess.
Yeah, it's got everybody on this end, it kind of stops right by Silver.
Like you're trying to tell you something.
Hey, I've been told that before. I can take a hint. There's your phone.
Everything's down.
I can't get.
What they've been saying is 10 years. Well,
Are we good enough now?
We're doing it? Okay. So, yeah, turn your microphones on. All right, we'll call this Monday, May 19th meeting of the Benton City Council to order. If you'll stand and face the flags, we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for the many blessings of this day. We ask your blessing today on those individuals and communities that have damaged through the windstorm of last Friday, and people that have lost lives and their families. We ask a special blessing on one of our members, Brooke Chapel, the loss of her husband. Um, we ask your blessing on this meeting this afternoon or this evening. Help us to make wise decisions on behalf of the community. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, the first thing we have is a CDBG payment approval for Marshall County Need Line project. And that this month is in the amount of $206,576. They're getting closer and closer to the end of this project, so they're staying really well on their money and what they're spending, but I need a motion to approve this.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Is there anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to, we have a proclamation from the National Treatment Court Month. Whereas, according to All Rise, treatment courts are the most successful justice system intervention in our nation's history for reducing crime by addressing substance use and mental health disorders. And whereas treatment courts save an average of more than $6,000 for every individual they serve. And whereas treatment courts provide a range of economic benefits to a community, such as reduced court cost in court and prison expenditures, increased tax revenues, lower foster care expenses, and decreased costs related to victimization. And whereas treatment courts combine accountability with evidence-based treatment, and whereas treatment courts annually refer more than 150,000 people to life-saving treatment and recovery support services. And whereas, according to All Rise, treatment courts significantly improve substance use and mental health disorder treatment outcomes and prevent fatal overdoses. And whereas treatment courts facilitate community-wide partnerships, bringing together public safety and public health. And whereas there are now more than 4,000 treatment courts nationwide. And whereas treatment courts demonstrate that when one person rises, we all rise. Therefore, be it resolved that Treatment Court Month be established during the month of May. And I would need a motion to approve this proclamation.
so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Thank you. If any of you ever get a chance, I know that drug court graduation is in July this year, and as soon as I get an email confirming the date, I'll let you guys know. If you ever get a chance, it's an amazing thing to watch and what they do with the recovery of some of these folks. So we'll move on to the first reading of the general fund budget ordinance.
Got the
Oh,
gas truck.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I missed that. The Benton, I do that all the time. The Benton gas truck bids. So Todd, you received a bid of $60,500 from Benton Ford for an F-450. Is that correct? And you have that in the budget for this year
Yeah.
already to pay for that?
Yeah, we have like 30,000 of it where we were gonna buy a different truck.
Okay.
We needed this one, and we're gonna take some out of another spot that we hadn't used
Okay,
to finish it.
okay, all right. I need a motion to approve. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
That's for pulling our own machine, that's why I sold it.
Okay,
That's a big truck.
okay. And then we'll move on to the first reading of the general fund budget. So everybody, Beth emailed a copy of the budgets to everybody. You had a chance to go over all of them. This is an ordinance adopting the annual budget for the City of Benton General Fund for the period July 1st, 2025 to June 30, 2026. Whereas an annual budget for the City of Benton General Fund was presented to the council for its review on May 19th, 2025, and again on June 16, 2025, and now therefore be it ordained by the council of the City of Benton, Kentucky, that Section 1, the annual budget for the City of Benton General Fund for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2026, shall be set forth on Exhibit A attached hereto and incorporated by reference. Section 2, this ordinance shall be effective as of July 1st, 2025. So this is just the first reading. And revenues from our fund balance that's left over is $3 million. From fund balance Nichols Park Trust is $46,006. Tax revenue, which is, I always have to write this down because I can't remember. Payroll tax, insurance tax, and property tax is $3,184,000. And other revenue is $1,001,638. And the other revenue, guys, is from, on your proposed budget, this line here, all of these different things, okay? So don't need a motion this time. We'll get a motion next time. Do you have any questions at all about the general fund budget? Nothing? Okay, we'll move on. So we have a first reading of Benton Water and Sewer budget. An ordinance adopting the annual budget for the Benton Water and Sewer System for the period July 1st, 2025 to June 30, 2026. Whereas an annual budget for the City of Benton Water and Sewer System was presented to the council for its review on May 19, 2025 and June 16, 2025. And now therefore be it ordained by the council of the City of Benton, Kentucky, that Section 1, the annual budget for the City of Benton Water and Sewer System for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026 shall be set forth on Exhibit A hereto attached and incorporated by reference. Section 2, this ordinance shall be effective as of July 1st, 2025. So, let me get to the back here if I can get my hands on it. From our fund balance, left over $300,000. Revenue from services, $2,773,675, and other revenues is $78,500. The other revenues is things such as tap-on fees and all the incidentals. Expenses, water department, $1,020,420. Sewer department, $1,08,220, I'm sorry. General expenses, $824,835. Employee benefits, $298,700 for a total of $3,152,175. Any questions at all on the water and sewer? None? Okay. And last but not least is the Benton gas budget. An ordinance adopting the annual budget for the Benton gas system for the period July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. Whereas an annual budget for the City of Benton gas system was presented to the council for its review on May 19th, 2025 and June 16th, 2025. And now therefore be it ordained by the council of the City of Benton, Kentucky, that the annual budget for the City of Benton gas system for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026, shall be as set forth on Exhibit A attached hereto and incorporated by reference. Section 2, this ordinance shall be effective as of July 1st, 2025. And gas sales was $4,668,000. Other revenue is $268,000, which Todd, I'm assuming is installing gas mains and,
Well,
okay,
it's tap on fees.
taps, okay,
Service lines.
okay,
And some mains that people pay for.
okay, gotcha. For total revenues of $4,936,000. Their expenses is the cost of the gas, $2,572,500. General expenses, $564,500. Salaries and benefits, $959,000. Gas maintenance, $415,000. Community projects, $100,000. Equipment, $325,000. For total expenses of $4,936,000. Any questions on the gas system? Okay. Thank you much. Okay, we'll move on to the first reading of the street legal special purpose vehicles.
I'm gonna read this. This is a short ordinance. I think I sent everybody a copy, and then I amended it, had a few changes, but I'm gonna go on and read. And then I put in front of you kind of a little information sheet about what constitutes a, street legal in Kentucky. There's, I anticipated that there might be some questions, so I went on and got that for you. But this is an ordinance authorizing the operation of street legal special purpose vehicles as defined by KRS Chapter 186 on highways and streets in the city of Benton and establishing restrictions for operation. Whereas the Kentucky General Assembly passed Senate Bill 63 to authorize local governments to adopt ordinances to allow street legal special purpose vehicles as defined by KRS 186 to operate upon highways within its jurisdiction, whereas Senate Bill 63 contains equipment requirements for the restrictions, operations, and street legal special purpose vehicles on all highways, including those in local governments that allow operation by ordinance, whereas the city of Benton determines that the operation of street legal special purpose vehicles on authorized highways is beneficial to the city and its residents, whereas the city of Benton reserves the right to impose additional restrictions on the operation of street legal special purpose vehicles. Now therefore be it ordained by the council of the city of Benton, Kentucky as follows. Definitions as used in this ordinance shall have the following meaning. Cabinet means the Kentucky Department of Transportation. Highway shall have the same meaning as defined in KRS 186 subsection 2. Prohibited equipment means any equipment installed on a street legal special purpose vehicle that is prohibited by state or city ordinance. Street legal special purpose vehicles shall have the same meaning as defined in Senate Bill 63 and codified in KRS Chapter 186. B. Authorized use. Effective number 1, effective June 27, 2025. Street legal special purpose vehicles as defined by Senate Bill 63 and codified in KRS 186 shall be authorized to operate on highways within the city of Benton. 2. Operation of street legal special purpose vehicles as defined by Senate Bill 63 and codified in KRS Chapter 186 shall be subject to local and state law requirements and restrictions. B. Miscellaneous. The street legal special purpose vehicle shall at all relevant times comply in all respects with any and all federal and state statutes and regulations, including but not limited to any and all safety requirements as well as registration and insurance requirements. The operation of street legal special purpose vehicles shall be at all times properly licensed to operate on a motor shall be at all street legal special purpose vehicles shall be at all times properly licensed to operate a motor vehicle. The street legal special purpose vehicle shall not be operated upon any road or highway where the speed limit exceeds 55 miles per hour. The street legal special purpose vehicles shall not be operated upon any road or highway where such vehicles are prohibited by state or federal law. If any part of this ordinance is held unconstitutional or unenforceable, the remaining parts shall remain in force and effect. Penalties. Any person violating the provisions of this ordinance shall be guilty of a violation and punished by a fine not to exceed 100 per violation and be subject to penalties as provided by state and federal law. Pursuant to KRS 83A 060 subsection 9, a summary of this ordinance may be published. The full text of the ordinance may be reviewed at Benton City Hall during regular office hours, and that would be the first reading.
Okay. And I'm going to go just a little bit further. What type of vehicles does this bill cover? ATVs and UTVs for sure, but it also extends to things such as KEI trucks, home-built cars, and any other vehicle that could be considered street legal in the state of Kentucky. What's defined as street legal? It has to meet the following requirements: one or more headlamps, one or more tail lamps, one or more brake lamps, a trail lamp or other lamp constructed in place to illuminate the registration plate with a white light, one or more red reflectors on the rear of the vehicle, an amber electric turn signal, one on each side of the front of the vehicle, amber or red electric turn signals, a braking system other than a parking brake, a horn or other warning device, a muffler, rear view mirrors on the right and left side of the driver, a windshield unless the operator of the vehicle wears eye protection while operating the vehicle, a speedometer illuminated for nighttime operation. For vehicles designed by the manufacturer for carrying one or more passengers, a seat designed for passengers, tires that have at least 2/32 of an inch or 7 greater tire tread. In addition, the special purpose vehicle must be registered and insured. Upon registration with the county clerk, Kentucky will issue that vehicle a standard motorcycle registration plate. Registered special purpose vehicles cannot travel more than 20 miles at a time on highways with the center line present. Per Senate Bill 63, drivers also cannot use that vehicle on controlled access roads such as interstates or were prohibited by a local municipality. So, questions, comments? This is a first reading, so anything that you might want changed, now is the time to do it.
I've got a few things to say on it. Went into this open-minded, not sure how I felt about it. The more research I did on it, the difference in, passenger cars built to operate on the road versus the UTVs, their lack of crush panels in the event of an accident, the high center of gravity, the relatively low rubber contact patch of the tires because they're built for off-road, um, concerned me greatly. In most UTV versus passenger car accidents, the UTV riders, fare very poorly. Serious injury, many deaths. If they don't wear the proper restraints, including arm restraints to keep their arms from going outside of the roll bars, they easily lose a limb. There's been many cases. I personally know two people that have died operating these vehicles, and that was on trails. I can't imagine on the road. But with the smaller contact patch of rubber on the road, they have a higher propensity to turn over, which will then, I'm afraid, cause serious injury. I have a lot of concerns. The more research I did, the more concerned I became. I am not for approving this in Benton. My fear is if something happened, lives were lost, it was a bad accident. There are cases that are especially dangerous for children in the seats, and I don't want that on my conscience. If something were to happen, someone was seriously injured, lose a limb, lose a life, I think that would weigh heavily on me. I'm just speaking for myself.
Okay. Appreciate your concerns. Sylvia, do you have anything you'd like to say?
I mean, I can give my thoughts on it.
Mhm.
I obviously said that I would sponsor this, so I am for it. I think that by not moving forward, it's not a progressive movement for Benton to hold this traffic back. A motorcycle is just as if not even more unsafe than these roll cage side by sides. Um, and they've already passed it, like the state's already doing it, so the higher, mile per hour roads where you're gonna be able to go 55 or less, that's where you're probably gonna see more of your accidents. I'm not saying it's not gonna happen here in town, but it's 35 to 45 mile an hour through Benton, so
We get 55.
probably, I mean, in some, yeah, in some
Yeah.
of them, but like not right here, where like you're gonna see more of your kids and stuff like that out and about, but, I mean, regardless, I think that it's just, you're gonna miss a lot of opportunity, I think. If you end up not allowing people to come through the city, you're gonna lose business. They're gonna go on up to Drachenville, or they're gonna go on up to Calvert, they're gonna go to all these other places that are going to allow it. So it's only gonna hurt the city. I know that there's a safety aspect, but the safety aspect is there no matter what people are driving, unfortunately.
Get
So-
to Draftonville.
There's my thoughts on it.
How they gonna get to Draftonville?
Because they can drive up 641, 68. They can
Okay.
go
Out the
641,
Okay,
68.
that's what I
Yeah, they'll
didn't,
be able to be on any of those, they just can't be on the interstate. But they can drive up to 20 miles. They can go to Murray.
And it's my understanding the county is passing a similar ordinance.
It's already
Okay.
passed,
It's
yeah,
already passed.
But, I talked to Marty.
Yeah.
it's already passed.
So anyway, there's my 2 cents on it.
Okay.
I don't have a side by side, so I don't guess it would really, doesn't
Either
affect me
way.
personally. But I do think that we would be doing a disservice to Benton by not allowing whenever everywhere else around us is gonna have them. So,
Thank you, Sylvia.
mhm.
Ann, do you have anything?
I thought I had read this fairly thoroughly, but now I can't find what I was looking for, and that was, didn't you say somewhere that there has to be an inspection of these?
It
Yes.
does, the sheriff has to
The sheriff
inspect
has
it.
to
It's
do that.
$25, I think, is what I read.
It has to be inspected, insured, and licensed.
Yes, that's what I couldn't find again.
Okay, yeah, that,
It's
that
in the
actually
KRS.
wasn't on this list, but
Okay.
it, yeah.
That's all.
Okay, is that it?
I studied about this and beat myself in the head over this back and forth and in between. And I've come to the conclusion that I do not want to hold us back. The state has passed it, the county has passed it, but I want an amendment put on this that they have to run their headlights inside the city limits.
Okay.
Because I had a motorcycle for years and it makes a world of difference of people seeing you if you have your headlights on.
Okay. Anything else, Guy? Is that
That's
it?
all.
Okay,
You got about 30 minutes.
yeah,
Okay.
I think supper's waiting.
I'll tell you, Kevin, you sure you wouldn't accident reconstructions, because you took the words right out of my mouth.
Well, I left out airbag, you can cover that.
And I've tried to stay objective to this, being my history with it, I'm on board with making the city the best it can be. I'm also on board, we have, as a city council, we play a crucial role, and we're actually obligated as city councilmen to be the health, safety, and welfare of their city. I don't know how many times that was preached to us in that academy we went to. And looking at this, maybe I'm jaded because I'm an old police officer and I've reconstructed hundreds of crashes and deaths. To me, it's just not a smart move for the city. And the only reason being, I know you mentioned a while ago that you had some out of off-road that have died, and looking at what the Consumer Product Safety Commission is saying, that 67% of these deaths out of 498 fatalities are occurring on the roadway, according to their
Is that in
their
Kentucky
stats.
or across?
That's
the-
nationwide.
Nationwide?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the CPSC has put those out. Crashes often occur linked to like speed, inexperience, driving under the influence, and carrying passengers. That happens in regular cars too. And Kevin covered a lot of that high propensity to roll. The tires are not rated to be on a roadway. And I know motorcycles, I totally agree with that. Motorcycles are, we talked that conversation earlier, but this is not a motorcycle. This is a heavy, sometimes 2,500, 3,000 pound vehicle, dry curb weights. And it's just got a lot of things with it that just don't pass the smell test to me. I mean, Kevin covered a lot of it. As we know, cars are built now to dissipate when they hit. In 1970, 1980, you didn't see a car wrinkle that bad. They're like, how did they kill that person? That car ain't that bad. Because it didn't dissipate energy. Nowadays, cars you hit, they bust all to pieces because they're designed to do that, to dissipate energy. These vehicles are not designed to do that. It's not. Big thing is airbags, and I think it's 1998, I believe it was, it become mandatory for a car on the roadway to have an airbag. Side curtain airbags, I don't believe are mandatory, they just put them in there. Everybody's on board with that. And there's a thing in the reconstruction community called a delta V. A delta V is something when you hit, it's that tenth of a second change in direction. Where's your head gonna go? What's gonna move? At 30 to 40 mile an hour deceleration entry, if you stop at 30 mile an hour dead, you're gonna die from that crash. Typically, a 30 mile an hour deceleration injury inside you can rip you apart. I mentioned 55, 60 mile an hour. I wouldn't want to stand somewhere and somebody hit me in the back swinging at 30 mile an hour to the head. I wouldn't want to do that. So in these crashes, when a car gets hit, where's that head going to go? The seatbelt's going to hold them there, but where's these airbags? These airbags are protecting that A post, B post, C post, getting that. So I don't know. I just see what Sylvia's saying, and I see what Kevin's saying, and just being, like I said, I'm jaded. Being that part of me is being the police officer and working those. And I swore I've had families come to me, and I'm sure the officers have too, where like, why couldn't you prevented this? My family member's dead. Where were you at? Why didn't this happen? And I don't want to be on the council. It's not if it happens, it's when it happens. And then look at this council and say, y'all voted this in. Y'all could have avoided this. Why didn't you do that? So I'm just against it.
Okay.
That's for those reasons.
Thank you, Darrell.
I'm up, I guess, huh?
You're up, Butch.
So I agree with Sylvia and Guy, and I guess my only justification in my mind is motorcycles are just as dangerous, maybe more. I
Okay.
don't know. And I appreciate y'all researching all this stuff, though, Kevin and Darrell. Uh, but I would have to go with yes on it if we vote,
Okay.
or when it comes
You'll
time to
vote,
vote.
yeah, next month on it. Yeah, this is the
Just
first
reading,
reading,
yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted everybody to be able to express their views and tell us what you felt and,
I would like to add one thing. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, one thing I'd like to add, and we got all these stipulations that's gonna go into effect, but, police themselves are strapped. I mean, there's a lot that goes on, we just saying we keep putting more and more on law enforcement to keep an eye on things, and not to mention they're loud. Things are loud sometimes.
Mhm.
But, law enforcement, I had a debate with a local fire chief in our county, and it got pretty heated back and forth on this phone call, as friends do. We're gonna argue back and forth. Me and Sylvia's had that conversation before too. Our brothers and sisters, and it's just a lot. The only thing I see that the city's gonna benefit out of this is the convenient part of it. It's convenient to have them, it's convenient to go somewhere, but other than that, what else purpose does it serve? Other than maybe bringing in a little bit of money. In a $15 million budget, I don't see that that's a big addition to that.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would like to know if Rob could put the amendment on this, I asked about the headlights or not, what the body thinks about it.
I don't see any problem with
Oh, I
putting
think
that
that's
on.
fair.
If you, no.
I think that's fair, that's easy
Yeah,
enough.
I do too.
I can add it, it's not a major change.
No, I
so I can
want
add
everybody's
that
opinion on it.
after a second.
I mean, in the vast scheme of things, I honestly, and it's nothing personal guy at all, but I find that immaterial with all the other data you're looking at, whether headlights on.
It's very material. You're going down the road and you don't see, rode a motorcycle for years and it makes a big difference if they have a headlight on.
It helps in the visibility. It doesn't help in a lot of the other safety aspects that concern me most. And like Darrell, I don't want this on my conscience because it's not a matter of if it happens. There will be people, lose limbs or lose lives in this. And I don't want that on my conscience. I really don't. And I feel very strongly on it and I'm not sure, how I would move forward from that, whether step down or what, but I feel that strongly about it. I don't want people dying because of something we allowed that I don't feel would be responsible on our part to allow. Then that's just my opinion. But I do feel very strongly about it. No disrespect to anyone sitting at this table.
Okay.
If we were the only, like, maybe I would feel differently if it was just Benton, and it was only gonna affect Benton, and that was it, but the biggest damage, so to speak, for the ones that are really concerned about it, I mean, it's statewide, like we're a very small drop in that hat, and
And they would have to follow all speed laws, so most of our streets in Benton, unless otherwise marked, are 25 miles per hour. A lot of them are 25. We have 50, uh, I believe, coming in from Cinco Hill, 55.
55.
And 55 coming down the Mayfield Highway
Mhm.
part of the way. The rest of it's 25, 35, or 45. So, do you guys have anything to add? Do you? Okay, please do.
It's gonna be people putting a lot of money into their product that they already have. So as far as the tires and things like that go, they're gonna wanna change their tires out. They're not gonna ride mud tires on the street. They're gonna change it out to a street or an all-terrain tire where it's not gonna wear on it. I looked up a Honda Talon, which is just a two-seater. It's 90 inches wheelbase. Standard Jeep Wrangler wheelbase is 96 inches. So overall, on the Talon is 126, and the Jeep's about the exact same. So I look at some of these UTVs, they're the exact same as the Wrangler. I mean, you got the doors off of, the hood off of them, you drive around. I know William here, he's got his two-door one that's lifted up. It's gonna be the equivalent of a two-door Jeep at this point. Everybody says the same thing about motorcycles. I ride motorcycles all day long. I wear a helmet. If I don't, it's my choice. It's the same way with the UTVs. Ride around. We're gonna enforce it because as soon as they hit the roadway, they're our problem at this point. So if they don't have a registration, we're gonna stop them. In the KRS, it says that we have the right to stop them and make sure that it's basically an equipment check at that point. So we can check, make sure that they have headlights, tail lights, seat belts, everything is up to code on that. Like the mayor's already said, they're gonna have to get everything checked out through the sheriff's office. It's gonna be an inspection like buying a vehicle out of state. They're gonna have to go over there, make sure that everything's up to par before these things actually hit the roadway. So there's gonna be a lot of boxes already checked prior to people riding. We're not just gonna let 10, 12-year-olds ride around on a a Pioneer at this point. So just think of it like that. If it's the equivalent of a Jeep rolling around, I know you have concerns of the safety, people flying out, things like that. It's the exact same. Or you got a convertible car, exact same. The dissipation, yeah, that's gonna be more in the county or in our 55 zones. Nobody's gonna be on 641 with them. If they are, we're gonna stop them and we're gonna tow them. So, yeah, that's our problem. We'll have to handle it, but that's what we do. That's why y'all pay us. So, any questions?
Do, I have one. I'm sorry, did I interrupt somebody?
No.
Okay. You know, we've wrestled in the past, and I know we've had difficulty staying on top of the golf cart, you know, on the roads. And this is like golf carts on steroids. You don't have any concerns on that? Because I mean, yeah, I see golf carts every day on city streets, and I don't know if they're licensed drivers or not. You know, I don't. But you know, we're talking something which could have a lot more serious implications than a golf cart running around in a neighborhood. So if, you know, if we struggle with the golf carts, and there's nothing against y'all got a full plate and then some. But I'm afraid, you know, it's even throwing more on y'all to enforce. And if we're enforcing on those, then you know, we have to look harder at the golf carts too, because they're not designed to be on the roads either.
The difference between a golf cart and a rental, man, they don't have seatbelts. I mean, if you add it into that, you add something like a California clearance and
Mhm.
they're already set to go speeds on basically highway speeds. The Can-Am Maverick is 1,000 cc. Our last motorcycle had 1,000 cc engine. It's the exact same engine.
Mhm.
Anybody else have a question? No? Justin, do you have anything to add?
With this line of work, we're gonna deal with the people that don't follow the rules. So the same bad decisions that somebody's gonna make side by side, they're gonna do it in a truck, they're gonna do it in a car, we're gonna interact with them either way. So we'll enforce whatever you think necessary, and it's up to people in making good decisions, and unfortunately, we don't get to deal with the people that make the good decisions, just the bad. It doesn't matter what kind of vehicle they're in.
Thank you much. Anybody have any questions for Dustin? No? Right, thank you very much. So we'll come back to that for a second reading. If you have anything else to add later down the road, reach out to Rob, tell him what you would like to add, what you'd like to take away, and we'll go on from there. So first reading, annexation on Sailboat Drive.
This is pretty cut and dry. I'm going to read the summary, and I think I sent you the ordinance. This is an ordinance annexing unincorporated territory adjoining the corporate limits of the city of Benton, Marshall County, Kentucky, with property located on the corner of Steamboat Drive and Rio. This ordinance is summarized as follows. An ordinance annexing the unincorporated property owned by Casey Noel Griffith, formerly known as Casey Noel Henderson, into the city limits of the city of Benton, Kentucky, pursuant to consent to annex granted by the owners of the property. The property consists of 0.42 acres and is located on the corner of Sailboat Drive and Red Oak Drive. A complete copy of the ordinance is available for viewing at City Hall during regular business hours. And that's the first reading of that annexation ordinance.
Any questions? All righty, move on. First reading of Chapter 52 Sewer Amendment.
I'm going to read the summary, and then I'm going to go back and kind of explain some of the things that I changed in our existing sewer ordinance. Summary, first reading, I'm going to read the summary. An ordinance amending Section 52 of the City of Benton Code to address sewer repair, connection, and prohibited use. This ordinance is summarized as an ordinance amending Chapter 52 Water and Sewer of the City of Benton's Code of Ordinances to clarify owner's duty to repair damaged sewer connections, to clarify prohibited use of the public sewer, and to set specific civil fines for the violations. A complete copy of this ordinance is available for viewing at City Hall during regular business hours. And then by way of explanation, some of the things I amended, the ordinance said you had to connect basically if you have a new building or you public sewer becomes available, you had 90 days to connect once you've been given notice. I've changed that to 10 days to connect without notice. And then, because this ordinance should be sufficient notice for anybody to connect to the public sewer. And any sewer system subject to a mandatory connection under this chapter that has been disconnected from the system as a result of damage, clogging, or other reason shall be repaired and reconnected to the system by the owner within 5 days after the owner is aware or is on notice that the system has been disconnected. Failure to timely repair the disconnection may result in civil fines as stated below. This provision only applies to the part of the sewer connection that is the responsibility of the owner and not the city. Now, the city takes care of the main sewer, but any connections to the main is the owner's responsibility, and they need to have that repaired. We recently had an incident where someone fell to get a sewer repaired and it was clogged up when they were responsible for getting it repaired, and it was going on to the neighbors. So this kind of clarifies their responsibility of getting that repaired as soon as possible, hopefully within 5 days. I added it shall be unlawful for any person to place, deposit, or permit to be deposited any pollutant into the public sewer without first having been granted approval from the city in compliance with the provisions of this chapter. We had a situation where somebody was dumping sewer into our sewer